Hello jet ski fans and welcome to another video. In this one I'm going to be doing some more work on the 1100 exhaust system that will be swapped into the X2. At the end of the last video I told you guys that I was going to install the stinger on the expansion chamber and then build a water box, and the plan has kind of been reversed a little bit. I am going to be doing some work on the stinger in this video, but I'm going to start building the water box. And I'm only going to figure out where I place the stinger after I have the water box built and set in place. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I don't want to put the stinger on, build a water box, and then figure out that I need something weird like a 22.5-degree hose in order to make it line up properly. So I'm going to build the water box, put it in place, and then figure out how I can get a straight shot between the expansion chamber and the water box, and that will be way easier to install. That'll be way easier to install. It'll make a lot more sense, and hopefully it'll be a lot cleaner look. For those of you who don't know, the placement of the bleed or the stinger on your pipe isn't terribly critical. It's just there to relieve pressure as the exhaust pressure builds up inside of the expansion chamber, and the rate at which you release that pressure is quite critical or important, and it can change the tuning of your engine quite a bit. But as far as the position of where you mount the outlet, that's not terribly important. As I'm explaining this to you guys, I'm second guessing myself because I'm still going to have to go uphill to get to the top of the water box. I'm very much a visual person, and so I need to hold something in my hand and hold it in place to kind of figure out how it's going to work. I need to make a piece of tubing anyway, and I want to use my new tool. So yeah, I may have already said this, but I figured out that I want the outside diameter of the outlet to be 2.5 inches. I want it to be that for a couple of reasons. The first reason, and maybe the main one, is that I want it to be easy to find hose for it. The second reason is that there have been tests done on the 1100s, and it seems as though they work a little bit better, especially at bottom end, with a 57mm outlet size, and the stock one is 54. So with an outside diameter of 2 inches, that will be 64 millimeters. That will bring my inside diameter about to 60. Yeah, it'd be pretty easy to make it so that it was restricted down in size if I wanted to, or I can just try it as it is, and if it loses a little bit of top end and gains a bunch of bottom end grunt, then very best. There are things that you can do to gain back some of the power that you lose on top end, and basically that comes by restricting the flow out of the stinger. So the most common thing that people do is simply control the water injection into the stinger. What you can do is use a trigger that triggers at 5,000 RPM or 4,000 RPM that injects more water into the outlet, and that restricts the flow out of the stinger, and restricting the flow out of the stinger causes more back pressure, and that actually increases the power at high RPM. It gives you more port plugging power. I'm not going to go into it, but that is the story of why I am using 2.5 inch. Make sure that it's squared up. I wish that it had a larger square surface to line up to. Like, there's not much to indicate against here. The problem is that this piece is too short, and it's very easy to get it kind of tipped off in one direction, especially when you're just using plate. For those of you who watched my extras video or the unlisted bonus video, you would have seen that I bought this tool and I got to use it. works really well. My hand isn't completely healed, but today is the first day that I've actually been able to use an Allen key without it hurting quite a bit. I'm able to make a fist today, so that is good news. All right, that is way better. It's way easier to push and hold it against this nice big edge than it is. There we go. I've done a couple of test bends and I've even popped a couple of pieces of aluminum through it. This is the first time that I'm actually really making a part with it, so let's hope that it goes well. I want to put it in this way so the finished side is on the outside. And I had to cut some off of the ends of it, and because I had to cut some off of it, it would have been too small. So what I did is I rolled it up, and now I'm going to use some shims in the seam. Not the most professional looking weld, but it's going well. All right. There is my weld. That took less than 5 minutes. It went really well. I'm happy with that. I was able to tie everything together and make a fairly decent looking weld. You can't really tell that I had to put shims in there, I don't think anyway. On the inside you can see I got pretty decent penetration. The actual outer dimension is 2.46 rather. Alright YouTube, it's the next day and I've decided on a water box design, and I've spent the whole day today dealing with the effects of cold weather. It's minus 23 degrees Celsius. Woke up at 7 a.m. The furnace wouldn't turn on, so I had to frig with it until 10 a.m. to get the furnace to start working. Doesn't appear to be anything actually wrong with it. It's been working all day since 10 a.m. It's currently a little bit after 6 p.m. I decided not to show you guys every step of this procedure because I've already done it and it's going to get sped up anyway. Okay, I am going to call that good enough. I can hold it together with some zip ties or something. I'm not going to push my luck any further. The next piece, I'm not going to film. I have to make it 2 inches. So is it going to be harder? Alright my jet ski friends, I now have the stinger, which is welded up 2.5 inches. I have the top pipe or the inlet pipe for the water box, which is also 2.5 inches, needs to be welded up. And I just finished the 2-inch piece for the outlet. For those of you paying attention at home, the reason why this is 2" and not 2.5" is because it's going to be dual exhaust. I'm going to run one out each side. It is the next day and I'm cleaning up this metal, preparing to weld it. Just watched the latest Jet Ski Brothers video, and Jacob's having a bit of a time trying to decide what to do with his PJS 800. It's a nice problem to have, but honestly I'm glad I don't have so many engines that I can't decide what to put them in. Because even with the few projects that I have a really hard time deciding what to do, so I'm going to run some sandpaper along the inside edge of the seam to try to chase out any contamination that might be there, because with the last weld that I did have quite a bit of stuff floating to the top. Rolling isn't a terribly clean process because you're pulling on the metal with your hands and stuff, and so you get oils and greases and stuff in there. I'm going to spray it down with some breaking parts cleaner once again. Give it one last wipe with a clean part of the rag. All right, got it all tacked up now. All right, heat is a little bit of an issue. It's manageable, but it is quite hot. It's going quite well. I need something to shield my finger. Ow! Okay, I'm gonna have to change up my technique a little bit to finish this last little piece, because yeah, I'm too close, it's too hot. Okay, that went surprisingly well. Pretty happy with that. Okay, give you guys a quick look at it. Maybe take a photo of my best work ever. Alright, I've now moved on to the 2" piece. The last piece I did was the 2.5. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, work my way along, and I'm now using the board to slide my hand on, so hopefully it doesn't see as much heat. Probably the longest continuous bead I've ever done. That went quite well. I think those welds are improving. What do you guys think? Welcome to the inside of my X2 hull. The fuel tank is going to sit up to about this line. Whatever fuel tank I get or make will sit up to about this web. So that means that the water box can come back to that point. The original water box straps are still installed and they held like this. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount this yet. I'll figure that out once I get it made. All right, so the idea is to have the exhaust exiting straight out the sides. One here and one here. And that means that I have to stay up above this line. So I don't want to have hoses bent and curved all over the place. I want to make it look fairly clean. I might end up relocating these pissers just because they might be in the way of the exhaust. So the reason why I'm doing this is to figure out the distance between here and here. I need to know how big the sides of my water box are going to be. All right, so now this pipe is going to go about here, we decided. From there to there is 5 inches. If I want to keep it reasonable, 5 inches on the inside of the curve of the plates. And so center to center, the plates are going to be about 7 inches. Alright YouTube, that's going to do it for this one. I did plan on making this video a little bit longer and putting a lot more about the water box in it. The problem is I haven't released a video in quite a few days and I wanted to let you guys know what I'm up to, and so I need to get this video edited and out. It's currently Friday. The follow-up video to this one won't be like a week like my last video was. It should be within a couple of days, so hopefully Saturday or Sunday I will release the follow-up video which will show some more of the water box building, maybe completing it. I have kind of decided to change the outlets to 2.5 inches just because the way it's going to taper from top to bottom, one, it's going to make it a little harder to build, and two, I'm kind of worried about the design because it's going to reduce the volume of the baffles or the baffled area in the water box. So I think just so that I don't have issues, I'm going to go straight shot 2.5 top, 2.5 bottom, and then where I go to the outlets, I guess I could make them 2.5, but it seems kind of excessive, so I'll probably cone down to 2 inches when it goes out the side. You guys let me know what you think. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.